Oh, is that running? That's running. Wow, look at that. So yeah, this is more for whoever sees this as benefit more than mine, I guess. A little bit of a hangover today, so you got to bear with me. But yeah, this is like my favorite, not my favorite, a workflow I really love. I've been watching videos on modeling in C4D, and modeling C4D isn't amazing, but also like I come from the school of like work smarter, not harder, especially when it comes to 3D. So I'll only UV stuff I really need to. I'll use procedural models or procedural textures as often as I can. Topology, if it's not getting animated, it's not bending, doesn't matter, right? I mean, there's the pride of doing a job nicely, but then getting the job out the door, and you can find ways to get it done good enough. I've seen people sweat crazy bits of topology for kind of like no reason, really, just for own personal pride. If you're working solo, no one's gonna be judging you. Even if you, the thing is, like ultimately, it's getting the work done, getting out the door. There's always a thing that makes the most sense. So, I'm going to show you my favorite workflow in C4D. I'm going to model ourselves a like a oil jug, because why not? I don't know. This idea came out of the top of my head. So, let's just do that thing, I guess. So, what we'll do is we'll set a radius on this to 80 centimeters. We'll scale this down correctly afterwards. Grab ourselves a sphere, set that radius also to 80 centimeters, and this is a bit like doing a Boolean type thing. I'm just on a laptop today because I can't be bothered to be in my office because it's pretty warm again in England, and these are both central. Let's get that about there. And we'll start seeing the beginning of this workflow, because what we're going to do, actually, let's just do, actually, it's probably a better way of doing it. Let's just do this, get rid of the cylinder. We'll just do a capsule, actually, why not? A capsule. And then we get our neck for free. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll do a capsule, and then we'll get a cube, and we can scale this down if we want, but whatever. And then we'll use this to cut the base off of this, about here, I guess. Something like that. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this, and that's the volume builder. So we'll grab both of these, drag it into the volume builder, and then give it a second, go into here. And then what we'll do with the cube is we'll just change that to subtract, and that cuts that off the bottom of the cube. If we come up to here, and we'll change the resolution down to, let's just do 5 centimeters for now. And our cube isn't quite tall enough, so let's make that a little bit taller. There we go. And then what we'll do, we'll add a neck to this bowl. That's not that, that's a cube. We'll use a cylinder. Boop. Boop. There we go. And then we'll make it a little bit wider, because why not? Like so. And then what we can do is, if we have some height segments, we can just do stuff like, I can go in here, and I can do, let's do a thing. Use your mind, what we're doing? We're doing a bulge. So wham a bulge underneath here, and then we'll just set this to a smaller number. Hang on, bring that up. There we go. And then bring, oops, that's the wrong control. Hang on. T. E. And then we come in here, we'll add some more height segments, make that, I don't know, 20. Whatever. Go to my bulge. And I'm just like playing, to be honest. I have no real, I mean, you can even do a taper if we want instead of a bulge. You can do both. So if we do a taper, wrong way around, let's just pull this out for a second. We'll do a taper. Turn up that strength, there we go. And we'll make my cylinder a little bit wider, radius, make it 30. There we go, sure, why not? I don't even know what I'm doing here. But then, drag this underneath here, and there we go, we've got the beginnings of that. Let's make our cylinder a little bit smaller. Whoop. Excellent, and then we'll add a little handle to hold it by. And this is just sort of like crappy, you know, the shape discovery. Go do that, and get our outer ring, do that, do one of these. That's not great, but we'll just get it sort of like kind of where we want it to be. Whatever, something like that. Kinder Bueno. Look at that, wonderful. How big's that? That'll screw it, that'll do for now. And then what we'll do, into the volume builder, and we'll change our voxel size down to like 1. There we go, and we see already we're getting like a very rough form. If we come into here, oh, that's a little bug there. Yeah, we can blend these. So make that like 2 centimeters. We see we're softening these edges and these transitions, so we can do the same here. Make it like 3, or even like 4. And then our cube. That doesn't need to be anything. And then we can do another cylinder. Let's just grab another one, like so. And there's, yeah, like C4D is like this world of contrasts, where like, so yeah, we can do is drag that in. Oops, drag that in. There we go. Change that to subtract. We made ourselves a little hole. This would be like something that we made out of, like, I don't know, what's it called? Clay or whatever. Ceramic, pottery, some sort of pottery thing. And then also what we can do is put a little dent in the bottom of here. We'll get a sphere, and then we'll add a little bit of one of them. You could probably do this in a less lazy way than I'm doing it, but we'll just go with this for now, and then we'll just do sphere subtract. There we go. Okay. And actually, we could make this. Let's just make it a hexahedron because it makes it a little bit better. We'll leave it like that for now. And then what we'll do is, let's call that. Actually, no, our torus is too big. T. There we go. Let's make that a little bit smaller. And then what we'll do, go back to our capsule, and we'll add height segments. Put it to a decent number. Let's say 24 rotation segments. Let's do 48. Let me see how we are fixing this now. Sorry, that was supposed to be like 8, and then cap segments we'll do like 32, and then these will all smooth out. See, work on that, wonderful. And same again with our sphere. Sorry, our first cylinder, our tapered cylinder. We'll do height segments. It's probably about right. Rotation segments, 32. Yeah, and then what we can also do, I think, is let's add a little lip to this, I guess. So we'll just add another little torus in. And yeah, I could have done a tube, but this is all like crazy procedural and exploratory. And the best bit is this is so quick. I'm doing this on a hangover, on a laptop, in my living room. If I'm in like a more work-centric mode, I'll be going a lot quicker than this, you know. So it's pretty good. And then yeah, what we'll do, we'll just do that, and then we'll just wham that in there. Boop. There we go. And rotation segments, we'll just do, yeah, 32 is good for now. And yeah, this is all non-destructive. So we've got ourselves our little bottle or whatever to start with. This one here still feels a little too thick. We'll just make that a little thinner. Oops, it's the wrong one. Zoom back in, and we'll bring this back down again. We want it sort of going here. And yeah, we'll just smooth this out. So our torus was added. Let's just put like 4 centimeters on there, and that sort of blends in that into the side. See, nicely. And then if we come back down to our first torus, this is on 2. Let's change that to like 5, and then we're now sort of blending it in a little bit smoother once again. And we can do the same down here with our this sphere down here. Which one is it? This sphere? There's only one sphere. It's this one. And what we can do is we can. I'll set to render perfect. Oh, that's unusual. But anyway, we can, on this sphere towards the bottom, we can go to, where is he? Sphere, subtract, and then, yeah, we can just also add like a bit to that, right? Look at that, wonderful. And then just for shits and giggles, we will set this to 64. Don't really need to. And there we go. Let's bring this out a little bit because we don't want that. And you can keep adding shapes like this. And like again, this is not a powerful laptop at all. This is a little MacBook Air. This is a weeny little thing, and yeah, it all works pretty well. So then the next step is, if we're say hypothetically we're happy with this, hypothetically we're happy with it. What we can do is we can then grab a volume mesher. This will take a second or two. Boop. and we get a preview of our actual mesh. So we're quite low poly-wise, so we've got obviously much more realistic representation here, but this is all still parametric, right? So we've not baked anything, and I prefer this to booleans because we're not dealing with geometry at all at this point, because the last step is the critical one, and the very much the C4D centric one. Let's grab this other torus here. Pipes rotation segments, we'll just change this to 48. You have to go a little high on your geometric stuff. Also, yeah, you can modify these shapes like with, let's say, let's do one. Let's do a little. No, I can't be bothered. I was gonna like bulge it out or make it less obviously a sphere, but torus. But who cares? This is not really for anything useful. What I will do actually, because it'll look quite fun, is I'll go back to my capsule down here and I will add a bulge to this. Ooh, there we go. Ooh. And just to make it slightly less uniform, a little 5% thing around its tummy. Just bring it up a little bit, just so it's sort of a little bit wider in the middle. Not by much. We can go a little stronger actually. Let's do 8%. There we go. This makes it a little more irregular, and you can even taper. You could do the bulge plus tapering the bottom. Let's do that as well. Actually, why not? Grab a taper, wab that under there, and then we will grab our taper downwards, and then we'll just give it a bit of strength. We want to do that on -y, I think. Let's do it that way instead. Sorry, wrong way around. -10. And yeah, we've just got like a bit of a, I don't know, we made a jug thing. And then, yeah, if we're saying like, you know, if we were to mesh this now, we would get these stripes in here because it does adhere quite well to the voxels. But we can mitigate that in several ways, right? So first things first, we can do an SDF smooth. You can have it as an object inside the actual layer list, or you can do it directly inside here. So we had an SDF smooth for like, you know, naturalistic forms like this. It does a fantastic job. And you can also see we still have some of these striations in here, right? We have issues. There's still problems. This is imperfect, but that is actually a really good thing. I'm going to show you in a second why. So we see around here, see this? We have these imperfections. And I'm going to lean in slightly to this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to duplicate this for a start, actually, and I'm going to turn both these off. But with this one, right, it's just, actually, let's go put this in a layer. We'll call this one add to new layer. Layer, and then we'll just hide that guy. Hang on. We'll unhide it. Oh, you. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we've got our this guy, and we're just going to bake it down. There we go. Look at that. Right. So, and that looks pretty all right. Really high geometric density, but this is where this gets fun, because in this last stage you've got a lot more, you've got room still for more experimentation. So we could have cut this finger hole right out, because where we've done some smoothing, we've you know, we've made this kind of technically worse. I don't care at the minute, but yeah, we have imperfections in the surface. So we've baked this one down, we've made it editable. But what I'm going to do quickly, just to make this on paper worse, is I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to do a displacer, because I love a bit of a displacer. Go to the attributes, and we'll go to shading, shader, noise, and then inside our noise, we're going to make this very low, like, where's my strength? Hang on. Objects. Oh, there you go, strength, 1%. And we've added some wibbly wobblies. Let's do like 2%. There we go. And that's overdoing it, but we've added some again, more surface imperfection to here, because the next step, it helps. So we've exaggerated this slightly. If I come into a remesh, because every mesh is awesome, let's give it a second just to do that. But actually what we'll do while it's going, we'll set this to like 20%, because obviously we don't want the same amount of geometry. And when you sort of play with this, we've got a bit low, we turn on adaptive, that should fix that little corner there. Actually, let's do 25%, why not? 25%, and and then we'll change our strength down to like 2, and that'll refire our remesh off. This is normally pretty quick. It's a little bit slow on this machine because it's quite a weak laptop. I just hope we can come up to probably, let's do 35 for now. I can't be bothered to put more work into this. And you can keep tweaking this. I'm going to quite a bad transition around here. But like also, once you're done, you can just, you know, fix the model yourself. But there we go. So, and some of those imperfections, not only from our noise, so we've added our displacer, which adds some noise. Beyond all of that, so if I go back and take off my displacer, actually, I'll just delete that for a second. And then I'll do the same thing again. Give it a second to finish. Boop. Yeah. Some of those, the coarseness of the, because also you can set, you know, we could make this out of multiple different pieces of different volume meshes, and then, you know, mesh them separately together at the end as well, right? But now we break this down, we can see some of the surface imperfections make their way through to the final model. So we've got some wiggling here, which is great. And for forms like this, because nothing in this world is perfect, right? There are no perfectly manufactured things. So having something be a little bit irregular, if you go around, you can see there's a few little bulges and wiggles in the surface. And yeah, again, when we're doing before with the displacer, we're just accentuating that a little bit. In fact, we could go even further into our guy here and turn the scale up to like 300. And we can just mess with the regularity of this. And then, you know, the remesh adds like a final little smoothing step to it. So you end up with what is actually a really rather naturalistic form with surprisingly decent geometry. And the best bit is remeshes, because it's Z remesher, ported I think pretty much wholesale. It works incredibly. I think like I've used the other like, you know, remesh things, I think made by the same person as well, and I tend to find them, I don't know why, but they're not as good as the Z remesher. This is like the best remesher I've seen. It produces the cleanest geometry, and yeah, yeah, we've got some jank around here, whatever. Like, you could fix that manually, or we could. There's any number of ways we can improve that around there, but we've got like a lower geometric density, you know, object that we've explored our way to, and it looks pretty okay. You can go further with this. I think like in previous I mean, I've done this on real projects quite a lot, where again, like you get this ability to nicely art direct in little imperfections and get happy accidents. I love happy accidents. Little accidental imperfections just from the process of saying, I've got this mesh by not modeling it properly and pushing it through a volume and then meshing it at the end. Just through that process, you introduce loads of fun little inconsistencies which, you know, correspond with like manufacturing defects and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. And also it's very quick. So it's a way I really love modelling at the minute, and you know, like there's a place a lot of the time for, you know, modelling for real, but there's also times where, like, you know, just make that, because I haven't changed the shortcuts on here to be whatever. And I can get rid of a couple of these loops, so get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Press delete, no, press alt delete, there we go, for dissolve. This is a weird one, isn't it? Shift E, there we go, W, shift W, I can't remember. Doesn't get rid, it doesn't get rid of the, this is a little thing I made, it's not very good. There you go, that'll do for now. Right, so, yeah, just put this into a subdivision surface, and then you can start to, you know, oh, wrong way around. Put it in a sub D, and you can start to, yeah, actually have a bit of control over shit. Anyway, it's fun. It's a fun way to work. I like it. I do it a lot. And yeah, it's just a random little stream, just to, I don't know. Anyway, bye. That's the end of the stream.